Dated a girl in Cold Spring Harbor, which is the name of one of Billy Joel's albums. She's born and raised, and had the opportunity to eat at Cristiano's, which was an Italian restaurant on Long Island. There's a song, "Scenes from an Italian Restaurant," bottle of red, bottle of wine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, every girl knows that.
And in Cristiano's, they got dollar bills on the fucking ceiling. And if you go to Cristiano's now, one of my dollar bills is still on that fucking ceiling. Ate there with her. I think I was like 16 or 17. P.S. Red hair, green eyes, hottie, hottie, hottie. And I met her in summer camp. So I love Billy Joel. Billy Joel played a huge part in my younger years. The first 8-track tape I ever got was Billy Joel Glass Houses, and I've always loved him and always will. So that's my Billy Joel story. You ready for my Billy Joe story?
Definitely.
Okay, so I got a buddy at home who looks exactly like Billy Joe from Green Day. Literally looks just like him. And he used to work in a record store at the Sawgrass Mills Mall in Sunrise, Florida. Back when Green Day was like hugely popular, we were like 19, 20, 21, out of high school, going to community college, and we'd all hang out. Like when people would come back from Gainesville or Tampa or whatever, everybody would hang out together. And it just so happens everybody's back from college, and it wasn't a break. Everybody either was on academic probation, or they got the boot, or they had a drug problem, or they lost their license. So, long story short, 3 of my idiot friends are working at this fucking record store together, and they probably stole more fucking records than they sold. No shit. And they would tell all of the tourists that would come in from South America to the mall that my buddy Sean was actually Billy Joe from Green Day, and a huge percentage of them would freak out, believe it, take pictures with him. It was like a running thing for fucking months at a time. We had a blast. I actually worked in that mall too. No, I don't think I ever worked in that mall. Did I? I did. I worked in a fucking restaurant in that mall. I worked in the Ruby Tuesdays in that mall, and my buddies worked in the fucking record store, and we used to con South American tourists into thinking he was Billy Joe from Green Day. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Next story. Next famous person story.
Gio's met a ton of famous people.
Has he really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Gio, hop in here. Gio goes next. Next famous story.
All right.
No wrestlers. No wrestlers.
Yeah. They're still famous.
The I've met a lot of them because I did the transportation where you would pick them up from the airports, drop them off at the airports.
Holy fuck
book them into their hotels.
All right, I got to stop you real quick. When I was a kid, one of my friend's dads had somehow knew Corporal Kirshner's something, either an agent or a family member or something like that. And we went to wrestling, and I rode in a van with Corporal Kirshner and some other wrestlers that I don't remember and probably weren't famous at that time anyway. You remember Corporal Kirshner?
Yes, he had the Rambo gimmick.
Yep. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
But no, yeah, I've picked them up from airports. I've dropped them off at airports. I've clocked them in at their hotels.
Just drop the names, Gio.
Names: Scott Steiner.
Don't know who that is.
Do you? Or
one of the Steiner brothers?
I don't. Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I'm not a big fan of male soap opera, male underwear wearing soap operas.
The Great Muta, he's from Japan.
Love you,
He's
Gio.
actually in the parliament.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Did you ever go to a sumo match?
No, I've never been to a sumo match.
It's fucking awesome.
He in one of the shows, he was. Didn't you manage the Bushwhackers? Or
Wait a minute.
Manage the Bushwhackers.
You have a problem with wrestling because it's men in underwear, but you don't have a problem with watching men in diapers wrestle.
Or talking about dicks all day long.
Men in diapers wrestling?
Yes, sumo wrestlers.
What are you talking about?
They wear diapers.
What?
Sumo wrestlers. What do you think they wear?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was picturing American wrestlers in diapers, thinking there's some fucking genre of wrestling I don't know about.
Yeah, Don Lod's into that.
Yeah, it's not really a diaper. It's similar to like a kimono, believe it or not. And some of them are really super cool. And they had the sumo that I went to that was like more Americanized, not Americanized, but more Westernized. And they had ornate belts with like these weird things. You know, it was more theatric than like a regular
believe
sumo
it or
match.
not, in Japan, wrestling is like
Huge.
gods to them.
So are Levi's jeans, Fender guitars, Johnny Walker
It's
whiskey,
the same
Marlboro cigarettes,
in
and
in Spain. Like luchador wrestling in Spain is a big deal. Like
you know what's
when
even
when them dudes wrestle for their mask and shit, it's like life or death.
yeah. You know what's even more valuable than that kind of stuff in Okinawa, Japan? You want to die? Used American porn. So help me God. I caught a guy in the fucking dumpster before we deployed to Okinawa the first time. I'd never been there before. I knew nothing. And there's a guy digging through the dumpster for porno magazines that guys are throwing away. So the whole unit's being deployed and everybody's dumping all their shit, storing what they want to keep, dumping what they don't want. And there are other people going through the shit that gets dumped and basically looking for porn magazines that they can ship to Japan, ship to themselves, catch in Japan, and then sell out in town because all the porn in Japan is pixelated. It doesn't show penetration or, certain body parts or whatever. And American porn to them is like Levi's jeans, Fender guitars, Johnny Walker whiskey, and Marlboro cigarettes. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. Like I've met a lot. I've met a lot of wrestlers. I've partied. I've actually partied at a bar with Mr. Belding from Saved by the Bell.
Mr. Belvedere? You partied with Mr. Belvedere?
Not Mr. Belvedere, Mr. Belding, like the principal guy from Saved by the Bell.
Okay.
And I met Dustin Diamond.
And she met us. Yeah, she met Screech.
May he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. Who's Dustin Diamond? The Trailer Park dude.
No, Screech from Saved by the Bell.
Oh, okay. I never watched Saved by the Bell.
She also met Pauly
because it
Shore.
was a soap opera. Hey, wrestling is men in their underwear. Soap opera about men in their underwear, and Saved by the Bell was soap opera about kids in fucking high school.
We also met whatchamacallit, Pauly Shore.
Yeah, I met Pauly Shore.
Yeah, a girl I couldn't bang in high school actually did bang Pauly Shore. No shit.
I've met the Trailer Park Boys. I've met Rascal Flatts, Sister Hazel.
That's cool.
Let's see, Joe Queer from the Queers.
I don't know any of those people except Trailer Park Boys.
The Queers is a punk rock band, and you know who Sister Hazel is.
Was Sock the lead singer?
I also begged Wanda Sykes groceries.
Who's Wanda Sykes? Oh, the comedian lady. Okay, yeah. I like her. She's funny as fuck.
Yeah,
she lives over at Fire Island.
Filbert?
Fire Island, so I begged her groceries and loaded them onto the taxi for the ferry.
Did you? I served Philip Michael Thomas's wife in a Ruby Tuesdays once, and she tipped me $100, and her daughter was gorgeous. Oh my god!
And I met Bowling for Soup.
Gio, I got a story for you. My buddy lives in Tampa, so he sees wrestlers all the time. And he was telling me, like, Ric Flair is the same person in the ring and out the ring when he's not wrestling. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Yes. I've met him before, he will buy out the whole bar. And that is why he is, like, constantly still trying to get wrestling gigs. Because the man owes so much money on, like, bar tabs and everything else.
Yeah, my buddy saw him pull up in a limousine to some restaurant, and like 3 hot women got up before him, and then he got out last. He's got this fur coat on. He looks in the sky and he goes, "Woo! Diamond rings and all the pretty things."
There's a story that he once got drunk, banged the girl, and then left, but forgot the belt, so they had to make like a whole new belt because he wasn't going back for it.
Yeah, it's a war trophy
no
for
way.
old girl. It's a war trophy for old girl. It's like the Marines giving up their dog tags.
I'm surprised that thing hasn't made it on porn. Not porn. What's that? Pawn Stars.
Pawn Stars. I went there. Wait, stop. I met the dad, not the grandpa, the dad, Rick. I met him at that pawn shop in Vegas, and he was cool as fuck. And having a pawn shop background, I literally had a 10, 15-minute conversation with the guy. It was super fucking cool. Asked me a million questions.
So, Gio, you're like super into wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Do you know who Rico the stylist is?
Yes.
That's my uncle.
Okay.
Uncle Rico?
Uncle
Wow.
Rico.
Does he start you off with like a Kelteen pack and
No,
a Night's
I
Color
met,
treatment?
I met, but I met The Rock in like 2004 and Stacy Keibler and
Yeah.
The Big Show and
I
all
kind of
those
met The
people.
Rock.
But he
Listen,
started out as an American Gladiator, and I like half grew up on the original American Gladiator set.
He was in the Gladiators.
Yeah.
how
I would
cool.
go on the set. I got to play with all the toys and climb the rock wall, and Diamond would bring her daughter over to the house to play with me because she had a daughter the same age as me. I was on TV a few times.
Oh, yeah?
Do you remember Brutus the Barber Beefcake?
I do. And
He
his tag team partner was Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yes, it was.
Like, he is a massive coke fiend.
I
Is
was
he
just
really?
gonna get there. Yeah. He
Abort, sock, abort.
he used to work for the MBTA, which is our subway system in Boston.
Yeah, where this is going.
Yeah, he was in one of the train booths and blowing cocaine, and something happened that he left the booth and just left his lines out on the fucking counter, and someone came in and saw it and reported it as anthrax. So they had to shut down the TV station as well because of poor Brutus. And the guy now, last I heard, he was fucking installing poles, digging holes for shit like that.
Listen, hey, don't make fun. I had a buddy who was in the pool business, made a ton of fucking money.
Oh, yeah, Brutus ain't making money, dude. Yo, Devacchio, what's up?
He didn't want to talk to nobody.
Steven's got some stories. He was on
Hold on.
TR. He was in the pool.
I gotta hit my rock story. Okay, so, oh my God, why does every fucking story involve a girl? Long story short,
Because you're a guy.
Okay, so I'm on leave from the Marine Corps. I'm at home for a couple of weeks, and my buddy is working at a Longhorn Steakhouse in Davie, Florida, on University Drive for all the Googlers. It ain't there no more though. Now it's something else. And he was bartending, and one of his coworkers was a cute little chick who bought me $100 and some odd cowboy hat to go to the Western bar that I refused to fucking go to, and I was forced to go and wear a hat all night and felt like a fucking idiot. But it's okay. I played cowboy and benefited from playing cowboy all night. Long story short, and she showed my buddy her boobs in the fucking cooler. I found that out a couple of years later. I'm still upset about that. Anyway, for your buddy to tell you, hey, I saw your girl's boobs, it's some fucked up shit. And they always do it at the worst fucking time. Long story short, The Rock was drinking at her bar while waiting for takeout food. He ordered a fucking draft beer and sat there and drank the fucking beer while he's waiting for his food. And she called me and said, oh my God, The Rock's here. And I jump in the fucking car, 100 miles an hour, lights and fucking sirens come screeching up to the fucking parking lot. And he's walking out of the door to his car with all his food. Largest man I've ever seen in my fucking life. He's a monster, literally a fucking monster. And I didn't even get to talk to him or shake his hand or anything because I didn't want to be a dick. He's getting in the car. He had all his shit. Anyway, true story. Go ahead. Next famous person. Look at all the shit we have in common though. Like so far, Sock and I have met some of the same people. Mego and I have met some of the same people. I don't know if Gio and I met any of the same people, or not people, but noticeable people, celebrities, if you will.
That would be me, dumbass.
Pauly Shore. There you go. Spree. Sock, you're up. Since you met more being in radio.
All right. Gio, I met Stephanie McMahon. She's just hot. That's all I can tell you about her.
Who?
Stephanie McMahon.
That's Vince McMahon's daughter.
Vince McMahon's wife.
Yeah.
Isn't she some kind of political thing now?
No, that's his
Linda.
wife.
Yeah, that's Linda.
Oh, you're talking about his daughter. I gotcha. Yeah, the daughter is hot. The daughter is fucking hot.
Yeah,
I remember her from back in the day.
And she was cool. She was down to earth, which I appreciate. So was Carmen Electra. Down to earth.
Diamonds and Pearls?
No, she was just in jeans and a t-shirt backstage with Fred Durst.
She was in Prince's video, Diamonds and Pearls. Diamonds and Pearls!
My best friend's sister is the Bumblebee girl from the Blind Melon video.
Oh, no
Oh,
way.
really?
Yeah, and I grew up 3 doors down from that band, Alien Ant Farm.
Get the fuck out of here. I love that Michael Jackson cover they do, man. I used
Yeah,
to play that
yeah.
shit all the time.
It was funny because when MTV Cribs came, when they did that whole like MTV, you know, they were on MTV Cribs, and it was just they did, it was funny because they were dressed in these like fancy robes in a stupid house in Riverside, California, you know, and it was just like just an average house, and they were acting like, you know, it was like $1 million home on purpose. It was pretty funny. If you guys look it up, yeah, that's where I lived. That's where I grew up. But yeah, it was a funny MTV Cribs.
Okay, so hold on. We're one-upping each other here. You knew the chick from the Blind Melon video, the Bumblebee, and that reminded me of the girl I sat next to.
Her cousin.
It's your cousin or her cousin? I'm sorry. See, I was too busy relating it to my story. I was too busy waiting to talk and not listening. So I sat next to a girl named Jennifer who was overweight but highly attractive and a good friend of mine and friends with some really fucking hot chicks. And it turns out that her mother was the Tropicana girl. In Miami, in downtown Miami, like in the city, they have used to be like a lit up billboard, and it was the Tropicana girl, and it was a little girl with a bikini bottom on, and there was a dog biting the bikini bottom, and then it would come down and you'd see her butt. And this was an actual billboard, a little teeny tiny girl, but it was animated. Say again.
Coppertone.
Oh,
Coppertone. What did I say?
Coppertone, not Tropicana.
Yeah, my bad. Her
okay,
mother.
my grandpa's brother was the stunt driver for Dukes of Hazzard. His name was Denver.
That must have been pretty cool to do those stunts.
Yeah, he got arrested when he got drunk and drove his car through a gas station in downtown Los Angeles.
All right, guys.
In the general league.
Good news, bad news. Good news,
Everybody
bad news.
called him Uncle Denver, even though it was my grandpa's cousin. Like whenever we were at family stuff, it was just Uncle Denver.
Listen,
he was
real
a really cool guy.
Guys, I got a phone call that could you guys hear me when I answer the call?
No.
No.
Okay. I'll be back. I gotta return a phone call. I'll be back. As soon as I get off the phone, I'll come back and we'll continue. Okay? All right.
Later.